When I first heard about Franklin Academy, I thought it was just another urban legend. Stories of an abandoned school, nestled deep in the woods, whispered about in hushed tones by locals. They claimed it had been closed for decades after a tragic fire that took the lives of several students and their teacher. Some said the school was cursed. Others swore it was haunted. But to me, it sounded like the perfect spot to explore with my best friend, Jason. Jason had been my partner in crime for years, and we thrived on chasing the eerie. So, one chilly October night, armed with flashlights, a camera, and a few snacks, we ventured into the woods to find the fabled school. It wasn't hard to locate. The building loomed out of the darkness, its silhouette bathed in moonlight. Tall, gnarled trees encased the crumbling structure, their branches clawing at the brick walls. The air smelled of damp moss and decay, and the faint whisper of the wind sent shivers down my spine. "This place is straight out of a horror movie," Jason said, his voice trembling with excitement. The entrance doors hung askew, one barely clinging to its rusted hinges. As we stepped inside, the sound of crunching glass underfoot echoed through the silence. The interior was as eerie as the exterior. Long, dark hallways stretched endlessly, lined with lockers whose doors gaped open like broken teeth. "Let's check out the classrooms," Jason suggested, his flashlight beam slicing through the dust-filled air. The first classroom we entered had desks scattered haphazardly, as if students had fled in a panic. A faded chalkboard stood at the front of the room, bearing the faint outline of words long erased. As I ran my hand along one of the desks, I felt a sudden chill, as though someone was standing right behind me. "Do you feel that?" I asked Jason. "Feel what?" he replied, his attention focused on filming the room. Before I could answer, a faint sound reached my ears, a distant giggle, like that of a child. I froze. "Did you hear that?" I whispered. Jason nodded slowly. "Yeah," came from the hallway. We stepped back into the corridor, and the giggle came again, closer this time. My heart raced as I shone my flashlight down the dark hallway. For a moment, I thought I saw movement, a small figure darting into one of the rooms. "Hello?" Jason called out, his voice echoing unnaturally. No response. We moved toward the room where we'd seen the figure. Inside, the walls were covered in faded posters and children's artwork. At the center of the room sat a single desk, perfectly upright and spotless, in stark contrast to the decay surrounding it. "That's weird," Jason muttered, kneeling to inspect the desk. The moment he touched it, the air around us shifted, the temperature plummeted, and the faint giggle turned into a chorus of whispers, rising and falling in an unintelligible chant. "We should leave," I said, panic rising in my chest. But before we could move, the door slammed shut with a deafening bang. Jason scrambled to open it, but it wouldn't budge. Then we saw them. Figures began to materialize, slowly emerging from the shadows of the room. Children, their faces pale and gaunt, their eyes hollow and lifeless. They stared at us, unmoving as if waiting for something, or one of the children stepped forward, a girl with long matted hair and a burnt dress. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Instead, a guttural scream filled the room, coming from everywhere and nowhere all at once. Jason dropped the camera and pounded on the door. "Let us out!" he screamed. The girl raised a hand pointing at him. The desk in the center of the room slid across the floor with a screech, slamming into his legs and knocking him to the ground. "Jason!" I rushed to help him, but the children were closing in, their whispering voices growing louder, more insistent. "Stay with us," the voices said in unison, their tone a sickening mix of pleading and menace. Jason clawed at the door, his face pale with terror. "They don't want us to leave." I grabbed the flashlight and swung it toward the children, but the light passed through them as if they were nothing more than shadows. The girl stepped closer, her hollow eyes fixed on mine. "Why did you come?" she rasped, her voice dry and brittle like dead leaves. "We're sorry," I shouted, desperation taking over. "We didn't mean to disturb you." The whispers stopped. The children froze, their heads snapping toward the girl as if waiting for her command. For a moment, the room was deathly silent. Then the girl pointed at the camera Jason had dropped. "Show them." "What?" I stammered. "Show them the truth," she repeated, her voice echoing unnaturally. Suddenly, the door burst open and the children vanished. Jason and I scrambled out, not daring to look back. We ran through the hallways, the sound of our footsteps echoing like gunshots. The giggles followed us, growing fainter as we burst out of the school and into the cold night air. We didn't stop running until we reached the car. Jason started the engine, and we sped away, the silhouette of Franklin Academy disappearing into the darkness behind us. Back at my apartment, we watched the footage Jason had filmed. At first, it was just the empty classroom and hallways. But as the video played, faint figures began to appear in the background, children watching us from the shadows. And then, at the very end, the girl's face filled the screen. "Show them," she whispered. We uploaded the video the next day. Within hours, it went viral. Comments flooded in, some claiming it was fake, others sharing similar experiences at Franklin Academy. Jason and I never went back, but sometimes, late at night, I hear whispers outside my window. And when I look, I see her, the girl in the burnt dress, standing just beyond the glass, waiting. If you like this video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And by subscribing to the channel, you help support the creation of more videos just like this one. Real short, scary stories, disturbing short horror stories.